Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in this video I want to share with you a little known but a fantastic game played by Colombian chess player Gildardo Garcia. His opponent is Spanish chess player Juan Manuel Bellon Lopez, and the game was played in 1976 in Cienfuegos, which is a city on the southern coast of Cuba. Bellon Lopez would earn his GM title in 1979 and Gildardo Garcia would become a grandmaster in 1991. But meanwhile, this game was played in 1976 and let's see what happened on the board. Bellon Lopez opened up with e4 and Garcia responded with Sicilian defense c5, knight f3 d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3 and a6. Black goes for neither variation, against which white chose the classical variation bishop e2. In here, of course, black can keep the game in neither of lines by going for e5, but Gildardo Garcia preferred Scheveningen setup and played e6. White castled kingside, queen c7, f4, bishop e7, king h1, knight c6. Of course, all this is a theory seen thousands of times. Black castled kingside, queen e1. White is preparing to bring his queen on the king side, and knight a5. A rare continuation. Instead of playing knight a5, black is usually capturing on d4 and then is playing b5 followed by bishop b7. But in our game we have this rare knight a5 move. Here comes rook d1, b5 and e5. White goes for a pawn sacrifice, but let's see, where is white's compensation? D takes e5, f takes e5, queen takes e5, bishop f4. By sacrificing a pawn, white will now rely on the activity of his pieces. Queen c5, bishop f3, bishop b7 and b4. White goes for the second pawn sacrifice, which is an absolutely correct and powerful move. Here is the idea. The idea is that now after queen takes b4, black is playing bishop takes b7, and already if you recapture with the knight, then this knight c6 can be very unpleasant for black. If queen c5, then after knight takes e7 check, queen takes e7, white has this bishop g5 move and black's king side is collapsing. White can even intensify the pressure and black is in trouble. That's why in our game after bishop takes b7 we have rook d8. Black is counterattacking white knight. Right now we have two hanging pieces. Knight c6, which is an inaccurate move. Instead it was better to capture on a6. If rook takes d4, then rook b1. If queen c5, then bishop e3. In this line, white is maintaining a slight advantage. Let's take a quick look at this variation and proceed with our main game. Let's go back, but in our game after rook d8, as I've already mentioned, we have knight c6. Now comes knight takes c6, bishop takes c6, and rook c8. Yes, now black will win the sacrificed piece. Rook c8 is on the board, bishop d2, rook takes c6 and knight d5. And in here we actually reached the critical position. On the surface it looks like that black should move away his queen. But instead of touching his queen, Gildardo Garcia came up with a fantastic idea and he captured on d5 and went for a queen sacrifice. But let's see, where is black's compensation? Bishop takes b4, bishop takes b4, queen e4, bishop c3, rook d3, and this time we have rook c4. Well, if we have a look at the position, against the queen, white has two minor pieces and two pawns. This is an adequate compensation and the position is equal, though I have to tell you that playing typical positions with the black pieces is easier. Queen f3 was played, now we have bishop f6. Black pieces are very active and all this give black compensation. Rook takes c2, in return white is capturing on a6, rook c8, g3, rook c1. Black is not afraid of simplifications. In here we have the exchange of rooks on c1, king g2, rook c2 check, king h3 and g5. Now black will try to create problems for white king. Rook a3, and this time we have bishop e7, both attacking the rook and at the same time opening up the f-pawn's path. Queen d1, which is a passive counter-attacking move. Instead it was better to counter-attack black rook by going for queen e4. If rook b2, then rook a8 check, and then queen e5 check, and then queen b8. This is of course a very active line for white, but in our game we have queen d1. Now comes rook b2, rook a7, and f5. And already at this point, white is forced to give away his rook because black has created a nasty g4 threat. That's why white played rook takes e7 and got rid of black bishop. Knight takes e7 and g4, which is losing on the spot. Instead, it was better to announce a check from d8 and only then play g4. The thing is that the queen on d1 is misplaced, and in the following combination, which we will see in our game, is becoming a target for black knight. And if f takes g4 check, then king takes g4. White is holding and no problem at all. But in our game we have g4, to which Gildardo Garcia responded with knight d5. And with this move, black actually created very nasty threats. One of the possible threats right now is f takes g4 check and then rook g2. White king is in danger. Here Bellon Lopez captured on f5. To which Gildardo Garcia responded with the move, after which white resigned. Please pause the video and try to find the winning move for black. You will be proud of yourself if you can find that move. Ready? In here, the winning move is an absolutely fantastic rook g2, and we have a resignation. With this move, black is cutting white's king escaping route and is threatening knight f4 checkmate. Let's take a look at several continuations. Now if king takes g2, then knight e3 fork is winning. Or after rook g2, if move like queen d4, then knight f4 check is coming. And after the exchange, the pawn endgame is totally winning for black. Or after rook g2, if queen takes d5, again, in order to get rid of black's pieces, then black can first go for this bishop 2, can get rid of white pawn on h2, and then can win white queen, and again the pawn endgame is totally winning for black. That's why after this powerful rook g2 move we have a resignation. A very impressive game, I think. First, black sacrificed his queen and demonstrated once again how two minor pieces can prevail over the queen, and of course this final rook g2 sacrifice is a move which is just dropped down from another planet. In the end, as usual, let's solve a chess puzzle. Please take a look at this position and try to find the winning line for white. I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Here are more suggestions for you. Feel free to check them out as well. I will see you in my next video. Take care.